Now, I had mentioned in the video that I'm going to need some 4x6s to go across to give it the beam look. I don't think I have to put them as close together as 2x6s, but all this I'll double check with the carpenter to make sure it's all right. It's the way I'm doing it. We don't want any issues now, do we? While I uncover this machine, I'm going to go over quite a few things on this video. I'm going to go over, how many 4x6s I get off this log, why we clean off logs, reading the log, and extra cuts off the flitches to get some more usable material, and why I cut using an inch gauge. And also, we want to review the many uses you use wedges for in a sawmill operation. About 6.5. About 6.5, perfect. Won't have to change it to saw it. Now that the log's on, you can see where there's a large bow in the middle. So that is, the top is relatively straight, even though that end down there is a lot smaller diameter than that end. I'll measure them for you and give you an idea. I'm not sure how many logs I'll get out of this. I'll get some 1x6s, it looks like. Well, this is the big end. I'll have to wait and cut the small end first. This end is 16.5, 17. We'll just go 17. And the other end, the vertical, is 15. So that's 2 inches different. So I guess I'm gonna have to be down 2 inches more on this side. I'll take one cut first. It looks like it gets a lot thicker here at about the 4-foot mark. So even if I cut this one here, maybe I should just cut. Good question here. At 4 inches, I guess, if I cut. At 4 foot, I mean. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to try it, and that's what tomorrow will be for. We'll be cutting and seeing what I got. So stay tuned, and you'll get to see how many 4x6s, and I need one 4x4 too. Somebody requested a couple one 8-foot 4x4 and two 10-foot 4x4. So I got to cut them too this week. Probably after this one 8-footer, I'll try to get some a 10-footer up here and see what I can get out of it. This is an 8.5-foot board to start with. This log was dragged into place with the tractor, so there is some mud on it. Now, it's very important to check for mud and get rid of it with an axe, or some people pressure wash, whatever you have to do. Some people debark. But if you don't, I experienced it one time. I actually didn't get all the mud off, and my blade going through hit a rock, and you could obviously see the sparks. I know it was a rock because I took it out at that point, and naturally that's not very good for a blade at all. So that can ruin your blade. So piece of advice, always check for mud and get it off the log. My first flitch off this log, if you notice, I'm going to give you a shot here. One end is a lot narrower than the other. I can only get a 4-inch board, so there is some waste on the one side. Later in the video, you'll see how I actually use this waste. Now, obviously, after the first cut is the heaviest yet, and you got to turn it, and you still have all the bark on the other side, so it likes to catch. And as you see me struggle a little bit getting this first turn on. Wedges become a very important part of this process, this logging. I use it to, to roll the log up. You've seen how I can able to turn it. And you need them also to hold the log up while you're clamping it. As you see, I'm a little bit of a butterfinger sometimes. That was another waste cut. I'm going to explain to you why I use the inch gauge. I realized when I use the inch gauge I'm not cutting exactly 1 inch because of the curve of the saw and everything else. But the reason I use it is easier for me to figure out my cant. I will try to make my cant the largest inch size I can. So as I go down, if I'm cutting it like 9.5, I know I can go down to 18.5 and get a 1-inch board. That just makes it easier for me. And if you cut it an inch, they're going to come out a little bit under, but it really makes no difference, especially if you're consistent and you're using the lumber. If you're selling it, they may want a little bit different, but this is all for my own use. Now that I got a couple 1-inch flitches out of it, I'm going to go ahead and roll the board over and continue to cut to make this the largest 1-inch can I can. Now that I have 2 edges square, I'll try to even out my cut. Like if I, 8-inch cant, I'm going to want 8-inch. So if I can get a 10-inch or a 9-inch cut, that's where I start, and then I can keep on going down from there. Time to roll the log again. Don't forget to put up the stops. Now you can see I got a 10-inch by 10-inch cant. And I am cutting up this lumber for specific uses. And as I said, I need some 4x6s, as many as I can get. And I also need a 4x4, so I have this 10x10 to work with. Now my first cut is 4 inches deep. That will give me a 4x10 to work with and a 6x10 to work with. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. I measure about 3 times. Okay, now here I'm cutting 4 inches down from the top. I'm going to get one 4x4 on the top, one 4x6 on the top, and the bottom left piece will be a 4x6 also. Now my last cut on this 10-inch cant will go from the bottom, and I'll cut it will be a 2x6 out of it. I went to the bottom because if you look, you can see the pith up towards the center. It'll come out on the center of the 4x6 left. Now, one of my least favorite things to do is these flitches. But stay tuned. I'll show you how I get some extra pieces of lumber out of them. I actually get some stickers out of them if you cut them right. Now, I started with the 3 largest pieces with a straight edge, and that way at least I got one large 1x8 out of them. Now, I only make even number widths. I make 1x4s, 1x6s, 1x8s, but I don't make 1x7s or 1x9s. Right here I'm cutting it 7-inch, and then that will leave me 7-inch, and I'll carry on. The next cut will be another inch lower, which will be a 6-inch, which will give me some 1x1 stickers and some 1x6 boards. Now, the flitches with 2 live edges always give me a little bit of trouble. I have to use a backing board and try to get the straight edge down. I'm just trying to get something out of these, and I will. I'll get something out of them, but like I said, I have to measure, and these requires a little more thought from me. I'm not quite as automatic as some of these good sawyers I see on YouTube that really just whip these out. I struggle a little bit about these, but I seem to be getting better as I go along. Now, here is my oopsie. You'll see how the board kicks sideways. I just went in too fast. That's all that happened. I was cutting too fast. I put it in. I didn't even reclamp it. I just went ahead and cut. It cut fine. And now I cut it a couple inches high, this board, because I can get some good stickers out of it. My stickers only need to be 36-inch long, so I can cut some 1x. Well, finished that log. Had a couple little minor mistakes, but I am getting better, I can tell. Now, this, I wish I would have measured the log diameter before I cut it up. I always forget to do that. I need to start doing that so I give you guys more information. Oh, we'll slide. There we go. There we go. We'll slide these a little bit so you can see them better. This is what I got out of this tree here. You see quite a bit of wood here. Now, this one right here is a 1x8, a 1x4, 2 1x6s. Now I have 3 4x6s. 1, 2, 3 4x6s. I'm using them inside. That's initially what I wanted to cut. I did have a request for a 4x4. They're using it for a porch swing, so it didn't have to be perfect. Actually, some of the edges adds a little bit to it. And I have 1 2x6 here, so that's not a bad taking out of that tree. You also see me cut some small pieces. They're 1x. Now I cut them. I figured if I'm cutting them off and some of them are straight and they just have a couple bad spots in them, I use them for stickers. I'm quickly running out of stickers. I need to bring a saw up here and cut them up and do 36-inch lengths. I need to do that relatively quickly so I get them to dry a little bit. But this is what I got, so it wasn't too bad. Saw ran good, don't have any issues. One board kicked out on me. The last 4x4, you seen it kick into the saw a little bit. I went in too fast is what happened, and it grabbed it and just kicked it in. It's not like I just went too fast. It's quite simple. I hope these, now I'll let these 4x6s dry a little bit. Then I may just put them down, find a straight edge, or make straight edges before I use them for the floor, because I want the floor to be nice and straight. So I'll let them dry for a little bit and see what happens. And then I can always cut them down to 5.5. I can straighten out edges that way. How many am I going to need? I'm going to need a couple more of these, but this is a good start. Not much I can think of right now, except, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. And once again, this is the old man with a plan, and I'll see you later.